A superintendent here in Chesterfield, just as an example, who makes over $200,000 a year. And teachers are taking a 2% pay cut. Folks, the money's not getting into the classrooms. It's not being used to educate your children. It's paying for the bureaucracy. That needs to stop.
Okay. Now, the other question is, we're talking about education. How do you all feel about charter schools? Do you think we need to go that route? Floyd Bayne, you want to talk about charter schools? What do you feel about charter schools?
I believe the more options people have, the better. I mean, it's choice. This is what this election's about. In the 7th district, you got this choice, or somebody who's not here tonight. But you've got choices, and we need choices in education. Parents should be able to choose where they send their kids to school and where their tax dollars are spent, rather than having it taken from them and just being told where they're going to have to go.
The problem I see with charter schools is that people don't have the choice. Many times they're chosen by lot, and I am concerned what's happening to the other children when their name is not picked out of the hat. We need to educate everybody and not just the lucky few that get special treatment.
If the money was spent equally throughout all the schools and not just schools that have good test scores, we wouldn't have the need for charter schools.
Okay. Now the next question, and we're going to go back because you're all going to have the opportunity to elaborate on what you stated. Because I have a feeling we're moving faster than I thought. Okay. First of all, does anyone have an index card that they have a question for the candidates? May I have it, please?
I was going to write 2 questions.
Well, all right.
Just don't do the 10 questions like we had earlier.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad I know your name because you didn't even put your name on it. Okay. Bill has a question, and what we're going to do, we're going to ask this of each of you. What do you see as the trade-offs between a large budget deficit and the need to bring the country out of recession? Hey, take it on.
I think we have become too fixated on the deficit at this point. Long term, the deficit's a problem, the national debt is a huge problem. But short term, we have to get people to work. We need to work on the infrastructure. We need jobs building roads, bridges, airports, high-speed rail. Those are the places we need to put our money now. If we try to balance the budget right now, our economy is going to flatline or go down. We're going to go from a recession into a double-digit recession or a depression. We need to address these long-term problems, but this is not the time to do it.
I used to own 3 supermarkets in South Richmond with my family, so I know what it is to be a business owner and what they have to deal with. We need to get the federal government out of the private sector. They are screwing things up. They have done nothing to help it. They only make it worse. We've got stimulus packages. You can name them, just a whole list of them. They're not doing any good. We've had 2 of them that I can think of, TARP twice. We've had the stimulus package with Obama. And we've still got an economy that's going down the tubes. Folks, government stimulus packages don't work. The private sector being allowed to create jobs and grow businesses is what's going to get us out of this. And the way we do that is to get the government out of their way.
Throughout history, we have seen government and the federal government actually help get us out of recessions and depressions. And by doing that is proper investment. Proper investment in transportation, proper investment in education, proper investment in healthcare. Doing all these things and making sure that the investments are there and providing an infrastructure for the economy to grow, that is how, in the long term, you get us out of a recession and you get us out of a deficit.
Thank you. Trey writes here about, everyone's heard about the high-speed railway. Please tell us how you feel about passenger railroads in the U.S. I'm assuming you're pertaining to the jobs, infrastructure, maybe?
Yeah, in general. I mean, how one feels about having the railroads.
Okay.
Well, I think some feel that federal government shouldn't invest in high-speed rail. Some feel that the federal government should. I feel that if we can see that it helps provide that infrastructure that I just spoke about, and making sure that it stabilizes our economy, helps create jobs, and protects our small businesses, then I'm for the federal government helping to invest in some of that. But we also need to be careful and make sure that it's spent wisely.
I can speak louder.
I don't want to be taken off guard. I'd like to know what it is. Thank you. Thank you. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Again, I had mentioned that I do think we need to get into that. And if we're going to have a discussion here, you know, if you take the federal government out of everything, you get rid of regulations, you end up with subprime loans, the derivatives, and we start heading down the tubes. I think we don't need over-regulation, we need appropriate regulation, we need wise government, not no government. And I think if you take government out of everything, you end up in the depression we're trying to claw our way out of right now.
I'm still waiting for wise government to come along. Somebody let me know when it gets here. Light rail. Let's understand the difference between the concept of advocating for it and what the reality of it. I've advocated for the concept of light rail as a means of reducing traffic and our dependence on foreign oil. However, I will not advocate for government subsidies of it. Folks, we have Amtrak. It's a money pit. Okay? It loses money every year. We throw more money at it. It loses more money yet again. It's a waste of federal tax dollars. Let the people who use it pay for it. It should be privately funded. Private enterprise can do it more efficiently and better. And let the people who are going to use it pay for it.
I failed to mention earlier that each of these candidates here, in order for them to do their jobs and to compete with the incumbents, they need your help as volunteers. They need your help with money. Each of them have a sign-in sheet in the bag if you have time to donate to them. And again, you all notice I'm still wearing this brooch. Anybody here to buy it off of me? Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and let you ask the question since you turned it down. You're not going to take us off guard. Okay.
All right, gentlemen. So far, spoken about healthcare, education, job creation. Now, upon getting elected, you would go to the Congress, be seated, and take an oath to then uphold the Constitution of the United States. Where is it mentioned anywhere in Article 1, the enumerated powers of the United States Congress, anything about healthcare, job creation, or education?
The pursuit of happiness.
That's not the Constitution. That's the definition.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, the next person, please.
Well, this country has evolved. There's nothing about public education in the Constitution. I think if we tried to get rid of public education, we know where we would head. There's nothing about, you're right, health care. I think if we took Medicare and Social Security out, I think those have helped many people. It's not in the Constitution, that's correct, but you know, there's nothing about regulating the internet in the Constitution, or what do we do about satellites, or, you know, things have changed, automobiles.
Thank you.
It's not in there. Okay, now, the question becomes, who should be handling this? The federal government has specific enumerated responsibilities spelled out in the Constitution. Anything beyond that is reserved to the states and the people respectively. So when I say I want to abolish the Department of Education at the federal level, please don't get your knees to jerking and thinking I want to abolish public education. That's not what I said, and that's not what I mean. What I mean is the states and the localities need to be handling it where they are closer to the kids, closer to the schools. They know what kind of curriculum will best work for their school districts, and let the parents in the school districts handle it, not the federal bureaucracy in Washington, D.C.
Thank you. Wynne, allow me to